Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing an oil change on the R7. We're headed back to the Tail of the Dragon in just a few days, and we need to get this bike ready to go. Let's do it. Okay, so like I said, we're headed back to the Tail of the Dragon in just a few days, and before we do that, got to get this bike ready to go. So we're on our third oil change, 6,500 miles or so right now, and it's due. When you're doing an oil change, you got to clean the chain, you got to service the chain, so we're going to do that as well. But real quick, doing this work yourself, super easy. You don't need to pay a shop for it. You can do it in your driveway. Really doesn't take that long. We're gonna get this chain cleaned. We're gonna get the oil changed in under 30 minutes. So with that being said, this is what we're gonna need. First things first, obviously, new oil filter. Shout out to Pasco Power Sports for hooking me up with that. Having it in stock made it nice and easy. So new oil filter. Obviously you're gonna need the oil. So on Yamaha's products, if you use Yamaha lube, they actually will warranty your engine. So as long as you have documented proof that you have been servicing your bike with the Yamaha lube and their products, they will warranty their engine. So that's super awesome. So we're gonna use that. And then from there, obviously need some place for the oil to go. So an oil pan and a wrench, of course, to get the old bolts off. So we're gonna get the back end propped up, get the rear wheel nice and free so we can service the chain and clean that all up as well. In order to do that, you need chain cleaner. So we got chain cleaner as well as your chain lube for after, and then most importantly, the actual chain cleaner itself. If you don't have one of these, super cheap, pick one up. It makes cleaning the chain so much easier. All right, so let's do that. We're gonna get the bike propped up, and we're gonna get this thing done. It's super easy. All right, so we did get the old filter off. Got the new one ready to go. We did have to take off the bottom fairing here, just the bottom piece. It's 3 screws. Yamaha makes it nice and easy. 3 screws there, 1 at the bottom, just to let this bottom fairing down so you can get to the oil filter inside there. Fairing's back on, the new filter's on, the bolt is back on the oil pan, and it's time to put the new oil into the engine. 2.6 liters since we replaced the oil filter, 2.3 if you don't, but there's really no reason not to replace the filter if you're gonna change the oil. It doesn't make sense. So 2.6 liters of Yamaha lube, we're gonna put that in. We're gonna do that right now, and then we're gonna open up the chain and all of that, and we're gonna clean that, and it's gonna be ready to go for the tail. We're now gonna clean the chain and lube the chain. We're gonna take this panel off, right? So we can get in here and clean all of the gunk out that's in here. These 3 bolts have gotta go. And that's gonna allow us to clean that out. Having all this stuff done is super important for your safety, especially whenever you go into a road like the Tail of the Dragon. All right, we got this casing off, and you can see why it's so important to take this piece off. We got all kinds of gunk down inside here. And in here, all of this needs cleaned. It's gonna be gross. So it's really important to take that off, get that piece out. That way we can actually get to the chain. When it starts to spin, and we can clean everything out all the way down. So it's gonna look good, it's gonna sound good, and it looks like, man, I was pushing the limits here with this chain clean. So yeah, dirty, but it's gonna be in great shape for the tail. So let's clean it up. All right, so as you saw, we're washing it all off, and man, look at the difference. It looks like a brand new chain. New chain, new sprocket. It's so clean. Don't forget to clean the chain rail in there too. Before that chain sits right on that piece there, and you got to get underneath there. There's a piece here that slides out from inside here. Take that out, clean that off. This whole rail was completely filthy inside there as well. So clean that, clean the panel there, clean the chain rail. But man, once you wash it off, whew, huge difference. Just a couple things. Be careful when you're doing this yourself. That when you're spinning the wheel here, obviously I have it in neutral and I'm spinning it by hand. Your fingers can get caught in any of these spots here. It's very dangerous, not in the teeth, underneath the chain. Just be really careful when you're doing that. And then you saw as well, I was wiping down the inside of the rim. Whenever you're putting the chain cleaner, when you're putting the chain lube on, which I'm gonna do in a second here as soon as I get this all dry, you are gonna end up having excess lubrication from the chain, and it's gonna spray down inside the wheel. Now, that's not too bad, but if it gets on the tire, it can cause this edge of the tire to be really slick. So you gotta be really careful whenever you're doing this, that you don't have excess chain lube kind of flying all over the place here. So you only want to use enough to get the chain nice and lubricated, that it's going to be running really smoothly. But that's it. I mean, we did that pretty quickly. That was an oil change and a chain maintenance, a chain clean, and man, the difference is fantastic. That wraps it up. We got the chain clean, we got the oil change done, and it really is pretty simple. You can do it yourself, and I recommend that you do it yourself because you can save a couple $100 and get to work on your bike. In Florida, it's really hot, so that's one downside, but it's gorgeous, so who's complaining? That's gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna have a 6,000 mile review on this bike coming up, and the Tail of the Dragon next week. We got a lot of awesome content. Thanks for watching.